Good morning guys and girls, and welcome back to another video, and today is a leveling guide from 1 to 120. Let's go. Okay, so you want to be leveling really fast, so let's just get into this. Right, before you actually start leveling your actual character, I would suggest actually getting hold of a few add-ons, and that is Scrap and Auto Turn-In, because Auto Turn-In basically auto turns in your quests for you and does some auto accepts as well. Along with that, using Scrap is just to mainly just get rid of all your junk, like without doing any effort. Another few things that I would recommend is by having the Tundra War Mammoth, if that's the lesser form, because obviously we got the Yak and then we've got the Long Boy and that, so it would be easier to actually get a hold of even just that for like 20k, because let's be honest, that will be helpful in the long run. Next thing you're going to need to do is by actually getting a hold of heirlooms, and make sure that you actually have your heirlooms equipped. Now make sure also to actually enchant your weapons with elemental force, as that is a great starting enchant on your weapons for when you're leveling with an heirloom item. This actually gives you some additional damage, and along with that, actually make sure that you enchant your heirloom items and send them over to your character that you will be leveling. This is relatively straightforward, as this will scale with you while you level and will make your damage increase a lot. And to be honest, any little bit of damage or health or intellect or any type of buff you want to put on that armor, it will greatly increase as you go on your levels. Now I don't need to remind you, I hope I don't need to remind you, that you do need to actually use your heirloom tokens on your heirlooms in order to get them from 160 to 1 to 90, 100, 110, 120. You get the gist. Just make sure you've bought your tokens and then actually attach them on. Now that being the case, let's actually get into the leveling. Okay, so from 1 to 15, I recommend that you do your starting zone place. Recommended will take, for instance, a human. You're going to want to do your Northshire and make your way over to Goldshire. Once you have hit level 15, make your way over to either Westfall, Darkshore or the Wetlands. The Wetlands is located near Ironforge, well, just off to the side of Ironforge. Darkshore is literally just grabbing a hippogriff from Darnassus over there, and Westfall is literally just to the right of Goldshire. So make sure that you're going the right way and double check where you're actually going. These zones all scale with your character, and this is a really good method in order to actually speed level your characters. Because, let's take for instance, Westfall is a really easy zone in order to actually gain an abundance of quests, as they're like pretty much the secondary zone for your character to actually level in. So all the quests are nicely kept together and bundled in together, such as that. So it's like a massive questing hub. Now, obviously because of the scaling zones, you are actually going to be able to find this a lot easier, as every zone will scale you from 1 to 60, and that is amazing, because this is how I do it. If I'm on a human, I will go over to Westfall, complete all of the quest line, then make my way over to the Wetlands, do all the quest line there, and then make my way over to Darkshore. That should bring me up to level 60 by the end of finishing all of those zones. And to be honest, along with Dungeon Finder at level 15, you're going to find it even easier. I've found that if I'm leveling a tank or a healer, I actually hit level 60 faster, mainly for the fact of I actually get my dungeon queues with Dungeon Finder faster, so that becomes a lot easier to actually level my characters. But if you are rolling a DPS class and they have no healer or tank spec, then just do Westfall, Darkshore and Wetlands, and make sure that you actually do your quest lines in each and every dungeon that comes up. Even Gnomeregan, because that still gives you some decent XP. And I personally don't like Gnomeregan. Now moving on from 60 to 80, we are going to make our way over to Hellfire Peninsula, and what you're going to want to do there is pretty much level in these zones. Now start off with Hellfire Peninsula. I personally like Hellfire Peninsula, but if you don't like it, you can move over to Zangarmarsh. It really doesn't matter at level 60, so you'll be alright there. Again, use your dungeon finder while you are leveling, as there is quite a lot of dungeons in Burning Crusade. So, by going from Hellfire Peninsula and to Zangarmarsh, make your way over to Terakar Forest, Nagrand after that, and Blade's Edge Mountains. And if you have not hit level 80 yet, make your way over to the Howling Fjord, because I find that Netherstorm is rather tedious to actually level in, so I always make my way over to the Howling Fjord because it's just super easy from there. Now if you're able to actually just blast through that, you will be able to get from 60 to 80 relatively fast in a decent manner, as I personally hate those leveling brackets of like Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, even though Wrath was like one of my favourite like expansions going. But that's besides the point. Moving on to level 80 to 90, what you're going to be wanting to do is Dungeon Finder. I'm not even joking. If you are a healer or a tank, don't even bother leaving the capital city. Sit yourself in an inn, make sure that you get rested, and just do Dungeon Finder. If you're a DPS class, then make your way over to Uldum and just do the quest line there while you are pretty much leveling. Or another one that you could do is by doing Mount Hyjal, as you gain a lot of different types of volatiles, which is rather handy if you are a gold farmer, and obviously my channel is gold farming predominantly based, so there we go. But skipping over to 90 to 100, I recommend that you actually get some add-ons again for this one. Make sure that you have handy notes, Draenor treasures. Now this is to find all the treasures in Draenor, and such as the old leveling method, which could level you up from 90 to 100 in about 2 hours or less. You're going to want to get the XP pot from your garrison vendor, that's the quartermaster. By the way, he still is there, you just gotta look for him. And he will sell you a 20% XP potion, and that will give you a great increase. Now obviously you won't be able to do this in just 2 hours now, because you used to use the Elixir of the Rapid Mind to increase your XP by 300%. Unfortunately that has been removed, so this will take you a little bit longer, and make sure that you pick up every single treasure you find on your handy notes screen. Now along with that, I do recommend doing the bonus campaigns, like the bonus quests in those zones. Don't even do the storyline quests, because there's it's pretty pointless, because if you just do all those and do every single treasure, you will hit 100 a lot faster than you would leveling the conventional method. So that being the case, that would be easier for you. Now moving over from 100 to 110, I recommend that you grab yourself Khan's Legion, as that still is working, and personally Khan's Legion is really helpful for actually leveling to 110. Now make sure that you start off in Azuna, as I personally find that to be the best zone for leveling, and then move yourself over to Val'sharah, and then once you have completed the storyline in Val'sharah, you should move yourself over to High Mountain and get to 110 that way. Completely disregard Stormheim, as Stormheim is one of those zones where it's very time consuming and very tedious, and unless you really want to enjoy your leveling and you would just want to blast through it, just take the route of Azuna, Val'sharah and High Mountain, and using your Cons Legion you won't miss a quest line, like bonus quest that gives you a decent amount of experience. Along with that, I do recommend actually getting hold of like things like the bear tartar and the actual stirrups and all that jazz, because that will still give you some form of bonus in order to help you in the long run while leveling, even though they have been nerfed since then. Well, I believe the fighter chow and the bear tartar has been nerfed. Not so sure about the stirrups. I think they're still the same. In the case, that gives you a nice little buff in order to actually fight with, and you'll be able to blast through Legion really easily because we've just done the expansion on Legion, so you should be a master at leveling through Legion right now. Now, from going from 110 to 120, I recommend grabbing the add-on the Azeroth Autopilot add-on and level with that. If you don't want to do that and you just want to blast it, I would suggest doing Island Expeditions, because Island Expeditions blast you through so much experience, like really fast, and to be honest, with only like a few minutes per one, and it gives you a 10 ton of experience, you'll be able to get your characters up to 120 in no time. But if you want to actually do the quest lines, use the Azeroth, well, the Azerothian Autopilot, as it is a lot easier to level using that instead of just going off on your own. Now, Island Expeditions I do recommend are really beneficial, because not only can you actually level fast, and it's pretty much the best way of leveling. I will go out on a limb and say it's like the best way of leveling from 110 to 120. You actually get the chance of getting really cool mounts like parrot mounts, and I still want that parrot mount. I will get it one day. I will get it one day. And along with that, you actually get a load more mounts and loads more things that actually can benefit you in the long run when you're actually leveling your character. But that being the case, you are now 120, so what are you going to do next? I think you should go check out my video on how to get your item level up to 340, and then you can go from there. But that being the case, guys, that is the Noobs Guide to leveling 1 to 120. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, whenever I see you next. Bye-bye.
Yeah.